Our next STRI fellow, that is Dr. Ankita. She is going to present perhaps the most pertinent and significant figure of the 2 days, because it is on Matri Shakti worship in Bharat, the Kamakhya Shaktipeeth of Pragjyotishpur, that is here, and the Shakta traditions of Purvottar Bharat. So this is indeed the most topical and very, very important paper. Please go ahead, Ankita.
Thank you Sumedha ji. Namaste and pranam to everyone present here. It's been indeed a very, very fruitful and academically enriching experience for me at Indica, especially with my mentor Sumedha Verma Ojaji, to whom I will ever be thankful for selecting me as one of the recipients of the STRF Project Fellowship. I also thank Nagaraj Paturi ji, Harikiran Badlamani ji, he's not here today, and Srinivas ji, most importantly, for their much needed support and encouragement for making this conference a reality at the Cotton University premises. And this is a place to which, although I have not studied here, but a place to which I am very much emotionally attached when the name Cotton comes. So the topic that I had selected for my fellowship was Matri Shakti worship in Bharat, the Kamakhya Shaktipeeth of Pragjyotishpur, and Shakta traditions of Purvottar Bharat or Northeast India. The popular name Northeast India, which is used in English. So this is a topic that has always been very, very emotionally close to my heart, and having worked upon it briefly during my PhD, I chose to pursue it further under the guidance and mentorship of somebody like Sumedha ji. In my presentation, I think we can come to the PPTs later. Maybe I can explain it first, and because it has pictures, so I'll explain the things first and then we can go to the PPT. Okay. So in my presentation, I am not going to explain the details of Shakti Upasana in Bharat, because this is something we have been dealing with since morning, and this has also been dealt with extensively, not only in our Shastras and Puranas, but also authors like Sinu Joseph ji and Nitin Sridhar. They have also worked extensively on this in detail. In my full paper also, which will be updated in the Indica website in due course of time, I have looked upon the different aspects of Matri Shakti worship in Bharat. Ma Shakti as Bhudevi, as Saraswati, as Lakshmi, as Chandi, as Kalratri, etc. And the cultural and adhyatmic, the spiritual significance of each of them in Sanatan Dharma. And this is the most important point of difference between the Abrahamic faiths and our Sanatan Sabhyata, because in the Abrahamic worldview, God is only masculine. But in Sanatan Dharma, goddesses or Devis, they are equal in number to the gods or the male Devtas. We all have heard about the story of Ma Chamundeshwari, when the Devtas were powerless to counter the demon Mahishasur, and thus they approached Durga, who took the form of Ma Chamundi and eventually killed Mahishasur in a battle. Pre-Islamic Arabia also had several such female Devis, but with the advent of foreign religions, so these goddesses and their modes of worship came to be labeled as paganism, and those who worship these goddesses, they came to be labeled as pagans. And this is exactly what has happened in the Northeast, which is my area of study. After the advent of a foreign religion here, after the British era, the people here used to worship, especially the Christian dominated states today, Nagaland and Mizoram, they had their own local Devis and Devtas. More in number, the female Devis they had, but they have all now, they are in oblivion because of the predominance because of the aggressive evangelist mission of the church. I would come to that. Now, I would not go into the details of all of these due to the paucity of time. But one of the important aspects of Shakti worship which we need to understand, and which I have also elaborated in my paper, is the concept of the feminine, of course, and this entire conference, feminine in Hinduism. So I'll take some time to explain this and then come to the different aspects of Matri Shakti worship in Northeast India. Feminine, or what I would like to say as Stritva. I would love to request everyone present here to read the book. It's titled Creepers of Compassion by Mahaperiyava. Creepers of Compassion by Mahaperiyava, who was the saint of Kanchi Kamakoti Pitham and at Kanchipuram. On the face of it, Periyava's views may seem regressive and quite oppressive to the so-called modern, urban, working class woman. But as we go into a deep reading of Periyava's book, you can change the slide, Srinivasji. I've mentioned about Periyava, so... okay. So this is the name of the book, Creepers of Compassion by Mahaperiyava. So on the face of it, when we read the book, when we begin reading the book, he's so patriarchal, he's so regressive. He may sound like that to the so-called modern, urban, working class woman. But then saints are not easy to understand every time. And as we go into a deeper reading of this text and try to understand Periyava's thoughts on Stritva and Stri Dharma, he becomes so much more acceptable. Especially when we try to understand the reasons behind problems in today's world, like increasing rates of divorce, failed marriages, bizarre female health problems like PCOS, etc. The concepts of Stritva and Stri Dharma, they have an intrinsic relationship with Shakti. I would like to put it across simply that a woman must be like a woman, as simple as that. To understand the importance of Shakti in our civilization and culture, we need to therefore first understand the subtle anatomy behind female biology and the female reproductive system. A woman, when she realizes her Stritva, she is closest to Parashakti or the Devi, who embodies all forms. I would like to thank the Devi who first introduced me to this book, Creepers of Compassion by Mahaperiyava. She is not present here today. And the Shakti that I am talking about, the hidden Shakti that radiates and acts through the Devtas when she is called upon to do so. Otherwise, she lies dormant, she lies inert. There are several such images at the Kamakhya Shaktipeeth, which you all be visiting, or some of you maybe had already visited yesterday. There is one unusual image at the Kamakhya Shaktipeeth where the Devi, she is lying like a corpse. She is lying inert. She has 6 faces and 12 hands, and she is shown as being emerging from a lotus in the navel of Shiva. So she is that creative desire which lies inert in Kameshwara Shiva, and that is why Kamakhya Kam Sampanne Kameshwari, she is Kameshwari, Harpriya. And so a woman, when she realizes her Stritva, she is closest to Parashakti or the Devi, who embodies all forms. There are also several such images which you will see in Kamakhya. The 9 months of pregnancy, when a woman is undergoing labor, when she is trying to give birth, there are several such images, beautiful images at the Kamakhya Devi, even inside the main sanctum sanctorium, the Garbhagriha. So it is important to talk about all these when I'm talking about Matri Shakti, because during the 9 months of her pregnancy, a woman, it is the Manipura ka chakra, the Manipura chakra that is activated in a woman, and if it is healthy and most importantly a guilt-free pregnancy, naturally the quality of vairagya, the quality of sannyasa comes in during those 9 months. Because the process of carrying a child inside her body and giving birth to it finally, it is in itself a sadhana, a tapasya. And through her body alone, a woman is transformed during these 9 months. She becomes sattvic naturally, since it is a highly adhyatmic process, it is a highly spiritual process. And for a woman, her child is therefore the greatest creation. The concept of, the concept of Shakti which I am talking about, it is something I feel which we cannot intellectualize, because the moment we try to intellectualize it, we lose the essence of it. And the Kamakhya Shaktipeeth, yes, she is Kameshwari because she blesses us with health, wealth, she blesses us with vidya, knowledge, good reproductive health. So people visit her, people go to the feet of Ma Kamakhya to ask, to give all these things, to bless them with all these things. So it is not a moksha dham. Moksha dhams like Kedarnath, Badrinath. So we cannot go, when we go to these moksha dhams and ask for these things, so it works in a negative way on our system, on our body. Now I was linking the concept of pregnancy and Shakti. So after she gives birth, after the woman gives birth, the Anahata chakra in her body opens up, and especially when she begins to lactate and feed her child, the creative Shakti within her becomes alive after giving birth. But there are also various other ways of sadhana and tapasya through which those women who consciously choose not to get married or who consciously adopt vairagya, who choose not to take to grihasthashram, they also can attain that same plane of spiritual transformation like any other ordinary woman who enters into the grihasthashram and goes through that process of transformation during their 9-month-long pregnancy and after giving birth to the child. So in Indian culture, women are considered as the embodiments, as the living embodiments of Shakti. They are worshipped as Shakti because they are the creators, they nurture life, they sustain life. You can change the slide. Okay, yeah. The Kamakhya Shaktipeeth, the history of Assam, I think these facts and data, they are all widely available in the public domain. There are several books already written on this subject, and also numerous literary materials on these subjects can be easily accessed. I would therefore not go into the details of these, and more so since all of you are visiting Ma Kamakhya, all of you are having her darshan. So I believe we can understand who she is through our own instinctive ways. So I would leave it up to you all. And directly therefore now I will come to my specific area of study, that is the Shakta traditions. You can change the slide, Srinivasji. That is the Shakta traditions of Northeast India or Purvottar Bharat. For my field study, I have talked briefly about the significance of Bali Pratha at Kamakhya. Because this is a practice which is prevalent in all those Shaktipeeths which I had taken up for my field study. The one in Meghalaya, the Durga Mandir at Nartiyang village in Joai, the Tripura Sundari Shaktipeeth in Agartala, Tripura. So these are the two Shaktipeeths that I had taken up for my study. I also wanted to visit Dhakeshwari in Bangladesh, but that is for some other time. So time did not permit me. Ma hasn't called me yet. So the Bali Pratha, it is an intrinsic part and parcel of worship at Kamakhya. And And not just Kamakhya, we have several such Shaktipeeths across Assam, in different places of Assam. There is one Kesai Khati Than in Upper Assam at a place called Hodia in Tinsukia district of Upper Assam, where the main prasadam, it's the meat of the pashu. So it is offered as prasadam to the bhaktas who go there. So mamsa, that is meat, mamsa and rakta, blood, they have a cultural and spiritual significance in Shakta worship. And this is something which the Devi reveals to us in due course of time, if we are fortunate enough to receive her grace and we understand her in due course of time, who is she. Okay, now I'll come to the worship of Jayanthiya Devi in Meghalaya, the specific area of my study. Yeah, you can move forward. Okay. Pragjyotishpur, or the city of Eastern astrology, that is present day Guwahati, it was the famous center of tantric rites and rituals. And tantra is something which is not associated with, as Western scholars have made us to understand, with some esoteric magical practices or with sex. No, it is not that. And these tantric rites and rituals intrigued the British colonial rulers at first when they first came to this place. They could not comprehend the philosophy and the significance of Shakta worship in this part of Bharat, and this made them tweak their observations with their own, I would say, prejudiced interpretations that were informed by a Eurocentric Abrahamic discourse. When we talk about present day Meghalaya, it is home to one among the 52 Shaktipeeths of Bharat, which is located at a place called, at a village called Nartiyang. It is in Joai in Meghalaya, and there is a popular belief among the Sakta Sadhakas here that after visiting Ma Kamakhya, we have to first have a darshan of Ma Jayanthiya Devi in Joai and then go to Tripura Sundari, so that the entire cycle is completed. So it's like that. And the practice of matrilineal, it is quite popular among the three groups and communities of Meghalaya, the Khasis, Jaintiyas and the Garos. They still reckon their descent through the female line, and they believe that the world is ruled by a supreme Devi whose name is Ka Blai Sinshar. So Ka, again, Ka means she. It has a relation with Kamakhya. So and their indigenous religion of the, I would say, the Hindu Jayantiyas, since Meghalaya is a predominantly Christian state now, the indigenous religion of the Khasis and the Jayantiyas, it is known as Ka Niyam. And it means original religion. If we try to translate it, original religion. And this Ka Niyam, she is believed to be Kalima, and even the origins of the word Jayanthiya may be traced to Jayanthiya Devi, who is worshipped at the Nartiyang Durga temple of Joai in Meghalaya. It is located in the West Jayanthiya hills of Meghalaya. I would request all of you, whenever you have time, to visit this. It's a deceivingly simple temple, but the spiritual experience that you will gather there, it's profound. And one among the 52, yes, I have pictures, please move forward. Yes, this is the Shaktipeeth. So yes, the Devi's left thigh is believed to have fallen at Nartiyang in the Jayanthiya hills. Yes, left thigh. And this temple was built by the Jayanthiya king Dan Manik. Based on inputs that I had collected from the field, and here I would like to thank all my co-workers and supporters from the Akhil Bhartiya Vanavasi Kalyan Ashram, who have always been there, very much supportive during my field studies. So after the annual Durga Puja celebrations at the Durga Nartiyang Mandir at Joai in Meghalaya, there is still a tradition which is prevalent among the Hindu Jayanthiya families, and we must remember that their numbers are continuously decreasing. Numbering 25. The time when I went there, there were only just 25 Hindu Jayanthiya families. This was in 2000 and 2019. So there is this belief prevalent among these Hindu Jayanthiya families that they have to pay a visit to Mata Dhakeshwari in Bangladesh and seek Ma Dhakeshwari's blessings for good health, children, wealth and prosperity. And according to the head, who is the head pujari of this temple, you can change the slide. According to the the head pujari of this temple, that is the Durga Natyam temple, whatever he told me during my interactions, it was like several rituals that are followed in this temple. They share similarities with the Bhadrakali temples of Kerala. And Ma Jayanteshwari or Jayanthiya Devi, we must remember that she was the presiding deity of the Jayanthiya royal family, and she's a central figure of the Niyam Khasi faith, which is also the traditional, or what is called indigenous. I would not like to use the word indigenous, the traditional faith system of the Khasis and the Jayantiyas. And this faith system, Ka Niyam or Niyamtre, has many similarities with the tradition of Devi worship in Sanatan Dharma. The Jayantiyas of the Jayanthiya hills, they believe that Niyamtre is their traditional faith system based on certain principles of compassion towards fellow human beings, brotherhood and respect. And the element of worshipping Shakti or the Devi in Niyamtre, it eventually became assimilated, I would say, into the Shakta parampara of Sanatan Dharma. They do not worship any murti, and the tradition of worshipping the Devi, it continues even today among the Hindu Jayanthiya families. And they are very much alike to us Hindus when it comes to the death ceremonies. Like they cremate their dead, unlike the rest of the people in Meghalaya who follow a different religion. They do not bury their dead. The Hindu Jayantiyas, they cremate just like we do. And they also have similar customs and rituals related to pregnancy, childbirth, marriage, and they are primarily concentrated, the Hindu Jayanthiya families, they are primarily concentrated in three places: Joai, Maindu and Nartyang village. This is a declining religious belief system, I would say. Niyamtre, it is an ode to Mother Nature's power to create, nurture and sustain life. It is a beautiful blend of Hindu and ancient Khasi and Jayanthiya traditions. Bali Pratha is another common and popular modes of worship of the Devi at the Nartyang Durga temple. Goats, pigeons, ducks, they are the most common animals which are sacrificed on the day of Ashtami during the annual Durga Puja celebrations. This temple draws a large number of pilgrims from all over the country on the occasion of Durga Puja, which is the most important festival observed in this temple. And now there is a fine. So during Durga Puja, there is a special ritual. Like in other places of the country, we worship the murti of Ma Durga, but at the Nartyang Durga temple at Joai in Meghalaya, the trunk of a banana tree is worshipped. In many places, we also eat it as a sabzi in Bengal and Assam, even in South India. So this trunk of a banana tree is worshipped at the Nartyang Durga temple. I do not have pictures of it because I have seen it, but I think the essence somewhere gets lost when we click the pictures. So sorry for that. You have to visit the place. So that trunk of the banana tree, it is beautifully dressed up as Ma Durga in a sari and decorated with various other traditional finery and ornaments by the chief pujari of this temple. And at the end of the 4-day festivities, this banana trunk with all its clothes and jewelry, it is immersed in the nearby Maintu river, which is considered as a very sacred river by the Khasis and the Jayantiyas. Almost 99% of the Khasis today are Christians, but it is among the Jayantiyas where Sanatan Dharma or the Niyam Khasi faith is still prevalent, hardly numbering around 25 families. So now you can change, yes, the sacred groves. Now the worship of Shakti among the Hindus of Meghalaya, it would definitely remain incomplete without mentioning about the sacred groves at a particular place called Mauflang. Mauflang is a village in Meghalaya which is home to one of the most revered sacred groves of the region. The origin of these sacred forests can be traced to a religious belief system. Okay, I'll take 3 minutes. Okay. So the origin of these sacred forests can be traced to a religious belief system in which forests and everything associated with them are regarded as sacred. The local communities of this region, they believe these sacred forests to be the home of a Devta whose name is Labasa. And this Devta, Labasa, has played a very crucial role in preserving these forests, in protecting these forests and their community from any trouble, any mishap. And they are locally in the Khasi hills of Meghalaya. These sacred groves are known as Lav Kintang. They are known as Lav Lingdo or Klublai in the Jayanthiya hills, and they are also known as Asheng Koshi in the Garo hills of Meghalaya. So I'll show the pictures. So these are the sacred monoliths of Nartiang village in Meghalaya. Okay, so the sacred forests have these monoliths, and they are worshipped. The Hindu Jayanthiya families that I'm talking about, they worship these monoliths as Shivalingams. So this is the practice which is prevalent there. Can you change the slide? This is the tallest among all the sacred monoliths at Nartiang village. I would request all of you to please visit once this place, and maybe especially during Durga Puja, so you can also have a darshan of Ma, Jayanthiya Devi, and also see the unique celebrations at this temple. You can move on. Yes. This is a study which I have been pursuing, and I am continuing with this because it is very difficult to go into certain areas and interact with these people in these states which are overwhelmingly now Christian. Now, what did they practice? What kind of belief systems they had before the advent of Christianity in Nagaland? Was it related to Sanatan Dharma, or did it share any commonalities, any similarities with Sanatan Dharma? These are the main areas of my study. I'm still continuing it, so I haven't come to any conclusion. But yes, one thing is for sure, that the religious belief systems that were prevalent before the advent of Christianity in today's Nagaland, they had many similarities of belief systems with Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism as we call it. And Nagaland today, as we all know, it is the only predominantly Baptist state in the world, with more than 96% of the Naga population identifying themselves as Christian. I visited this village called Viswema in Nagaland. This was also in 2019, just before Corona lockdown, and there are about at that time, I don't know after that now, at that time there were about 50 non-Christian Naga families at this place called Viswema. It is a village of Angami Nagas situated around 22 kilometers from Kohima, Nagaland's capital, and these 50 non-Christian Naga families that I'm talking about, who belong to the Angami Naga community, they are still adherents of the traditional belief system called Kupen Wokfu. Its name is Kupen Wokfu, and this culture of the non-Christian Nagas has been sustained through oral traditions that have passed through several generations. To understand, I think, such a religious belief system through Western academic vocabularies such as animism or nature worship, this cannot do justice to our cause, because it will provide only a partial, one-sided understanding of the multi-dimensional nature of Sanatan Hindu Parampara. So this mode of worship among the Angami Nagas, Kupen Wokfu, it has a female connotation among the Angamis as the one who is responsible for the process of life giving, that is birth or creation, and these can be loosely translated as Shakti. Kupen Wokfu Wopfu, it is believed by the Angami Nagas, incorporates both masculine and feminine aspects of creation, that is Shiva and Shakti. Men and women in these Angami Naga families who follow Kupen Wopfu, they have their own different set of rites and rituals which they are expected to adhere to. You can move forward. Durga Puja Pandal in Nagaland. This was organized by the Akhil Bharatiya Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, and this is a picture from last year, 2021. I did not personally visit, but the people with whom I have worked closely, one person had sent me this photograph, and in 2015, I went there as a part of my PhD fieldwork. A total of 65 Durga Puja Pandals were organized in different places of Dimapur and Kohima. But coming to 2021, the number reduced to only 43 due to vehement opposition from we know whom, from several Christian organizations and groups. Also, next I would like to talk about there are various such deities, female deities like Litsaba, then another one called Rampaube, who were all female deities and worshipped by different sections of the Nagas before the advent of Christianity. Here I would specifically like to talk about the Bhuvan cave in Silchar, in Barak Valley. So there are several Zeliangrong Naga families belonging to the Zeliangrong community who worship Shiva at the Bhuvan Pahar, and during Shivratri they have these all-night Jagran in this temple, and it is also popularly known as the Naga Shiv Mandir. So that's all, and coming to the last section, you can change the yes, slide. Yes. So this was the third area of my study, the Ma Tripura Sundari Mandir at Tripureshwari, Agartala. So this is also one among the 52 Shaktipeeths of Bharat, and according to the popular story of Sati's death by self-immolation, her right leg had fallen here. There is another temple just near to the Tripura Sundari temple known as the Chaturdasa Devta Mandir in Tripura, where 14 local Kokborok deities are worshipped by the local Hindus of Tripura. And after Ambubachi Mela at Kamakhya, there is a famous festival that takes place at the Chaturdasa Devta Mandir at Tripura, which is known as Kharchi Puja. So it has a relationship with Ambubachi because it is also related to worshipping the fertility of Bhudevi or Mother Earth. So I think that's all. Something is telling me to stop now. So.
It's a very extensive field work and research that you told us about. And also very, which made us become extinct. From what you're saying, 25 families and 50 families.
Endangered species.
Yes, so they're very endangered. So I think this is a wonderful thing that you're doing, that you're at least documenting them. I don't know if this can be stopped, but at least you're documenting them. Thank you very much, Ankita. That was absolutely fabulous. Your field work is very impressive, and whatever you told us, I mean, it's giving us a feel of the system of worship, Matri Shakti and Matri Puja.
I have narrated all these in detail in my full paper, so when it will be uploaded in course of time, I have also given details of my field work. So
thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Please.
Thank you very much to Ankita ji, first of all, wonderful presentation. Because I have worked on the same concept of the Bastar region of Chhattisgarh region.
which region?
Bastar.
Okay, Bastar.
Yeah, of Chhattisgarh. So I would like to ask you one thing. Do you find any similarity between the Jayanthiya monolith as well as the Supernatural monolith? And another one, with the Angami Naga tribal, this monolith with the Southeast Asian countries, any connection you are finding? Because I am working on that.
I wouldn't be able to say about the monoliths that you were asking me about the Chota Nagpur area because I haven't visited that place. So I would love to. Okay. Of course, they have.
This the Jharkhand area.
Okay.
In Jharkhand Ranchi area, you will find similar kind of formation.
And regarding the connection that you are asking me with the Angami Naga tribal families and the Southeast Asia connection, yes. I think I wouldn't be able to answer this I don't know whether it's going to satisfy you, but I came across the Ramayan Parampara in Nagaland, and it is, now when we talk about the Ramayan tradition in Southeast Asia, we miss the Northeast link in this case, because the Ramayan Parampara that is prevalent in Bali, in Indonesia and all these Southeast Asian countries today, it went through the Northeast, and the importance of Lakshman, because in the Southeast Asian Ramayan Parampara also, it is Lakshman who is more important than Ram. So it is similar in the Naga and the Mizo traditions of the Ramayana, even the tradition of the Ramayana that is prevalent in Meghalaya. It is Lakshman who is more important. So there is a similarity, and we always forget this missing link of Northeast India when we talk about, the Ramayan Parampara in Southeast Asia. So I think, I don't know how far I have answered your question. And this is also something, this is I think not very relevant to our discussion, but the Christian insurgency that is prevalent in Nagaland today, and that they want to make Nagaland into a separate Christian state of the world, they always focus on this thing that अच्छा राम और लक्ष्मण तो यहाँ थे ही नहीं. No, राम, नागास को राम के बारे में कैसे पता है, मीजोस को राम के बारे में क्या पता है? But it's not like that. They had these concepts of Ram, Lakshman, Sita. They are known by different names. Like in the Mizo Parampara of the Ramayana, Hanuman is known as Haulauman. So it's like that. But they had.
Okay, this is very fascinating, Ankita, but I think we're running out